Hello space engineers, I am SJ Omega and today we are going to be having a look at my Planet Map 3D script. I will be giving you a quick setup guide showing you how to set the script up on strictly atmospheric vehicles like this Atmo miner over here, as well as on spacefaring vehicles. So, let's have a look. Alright, first things first, you need to make sure you've got a ship, and you've got to have a programmable block that isn't running another script already. So, open up the terminal, find that programmable block. I'm going to rename this something like map block, just so it's easier to find. You can name it whatever you like, doesn't really matter. So, in the programmable block, you want to go down to the button that says Edit, then hit Browse Scripts, and then search for Planet Map 3D. If you haven't already subscribed to this script, I have included a link in the description below. So select the script, hit Copy to Editor, and then hit OK. And already we have a message. It says, no map display found. Please add tag map to desired block. So, we want to go ahead and add a map tag to the block where we want to display a map. And I've already gotten this industrial cockpit here ready. We've got an empty screen on screen 0 in the cockpit. Open up the terminal once again, and we'll just put square bracket, map, square bracket. And already we see a change. Alright, cool. We already have a map. But there's a little bit of a problem. Everything is black. There's no planets in this map yet. Assuming that you're in just a typical save game, like any of the easy start scenarios, the star system scenario, anything like that, you can actually run a command that will add all of the vanilla planets to the map. So, once again, open up terminal, find that block where you're running the mapping script, and go down to where it says argument. And you want to type in load underscore vanilla planets, and then hit run. And there we go. We are now on the Earth-like planet. And it looks like we're behind the Earth-like planet because our ship is obstructed. Now, for an atmospheric ship like this, where you're not going into space, there's one more thing that I highly recommend you do, and that is open up the terminal again, go to the programmable block, and then run the argument planet underscore mode. Alright. So now, the map will always align the ship to the planet. So, let's see. Right, my inertial dampeners were off. So, if you see here, the ship pitches forward as we're flying along. We can rotate like that, and the ship marker rotates with us. And also a new feature to Planet Map 3.0 is there's a roll indicator on the ship. So if we kind of rotate over like that a little bit, the little canopy on the ship rotates with us. Don't want to go too crazy at this height though. Let's run some other really basic commands. So if we go to the map block again, let's run zoom in. Let's hit that twice. Now that we're a little more zoomed in, you can see there's actually little longitudinal markers at the equator. Ooh, watch out for that hill. And conversely, if you want, we can run the argument, zoom out. For a ship like this, I actually recommend mapping some of these to the hotkeys. So we just find the map block. Let's run zoom out, and then also zoom in. So now we can much more easily zoom out, zoom in, and as we fly along the surface of the planet, the map will follow us. And if we zoom out far enough, we see some of the other planets, but we can't really get to them in this ship. Something else that might be valuable on a in an atmospheric ship like this, say you want to go on a mining trip somewhere, you might want to log some waypoints. So if we go and we open up the mapping program again, we can do log waypoint, and let's call this waypoint test 1. So make sure when you run the log waypoint command that you include a space between the waypoint and the waypoint name. The waypoint name doesn't have to be all caps. So we hit run. Now we see on the map a little marker that says test 1. There is a full guide on Steam that includes all of the commands for this program. So there's other versions of the log waypoint command. You can project waypoints at a distance. You can log special waypoints like a base or a station or an asteroid. That's all in the guide, so I won't be covering that all today conclusively. Yep, and actually, as you see, we get a little bit further on. Let's do one more command that might be valuable for you. We'll go ahead and we'll map that to the hotbar here. Let's try next _ mode. Yeah, there we go. So you can cycle through different map modes using the next and previous mode commands. Because it's a smaller screen, all of the map modes have been abbreviated to a single letter in the upper left of the screen. So P for planet, then let's see, that's O for orbit, W for world modes, that's basically just a zoomed out version of the map, F for free mode, S for ship mode. The difference between free and ship: free, the map is just static. Ship, it'll follow it along, follow the ship along, but not relative to a planet. And C for chase, which I don't really like that mode very much. Let's go back to ship mode. So we will go ahead and zoom in on our ship. And then let's run 2 more commands. In the 8 and 9 blocks, we will put rotate left, and in 9, we will put rotate _ right. So now, you can rotate the map around the ship by hitting rotate left, and then go back with rotate right. There's also rotate up, rotate down, and then there's a spin left and a spin right, which will create a constant angular velocity around the point of rotation. And one of the things that that's worth noting here is that we've got all of these ship commands, these map commands that are mapped to the hotbar, but if we mouse over them, all it ever says is map block run, map block run. We don't know which commands those are, so one way of getting around that is just setting up a regular scheme that that you use and memorizing which one's which. But I have a better solution for that, and for that we are going to need to go to space. So I will join you in another minute up in space. Okay, we're up in space now. I've already set up the mapping program on my Narwhal class recon ship. And I need to point out something that could come up if you're not careful with the script. So if we look at the map right now, the map indicator seems like it's pointed away from the Earth-like planet. But if we look out the window, the ship is pointed at the Earth-like planet. So that's not good. So let's open up the terminal. Find the map block. And if we look down here, in the messages, we have warning, no block containing reference found. So we need to put that reference tag in a block that is facing forward. Like we could put it in the seat that we're sitting in right now. So let's just exit out of the terminal, pop back in so we're just at the seat, and let's put in the tag reference. Nothing's changed, so let's go back to the map block again. We still have the warning, so let's go ahead and hit the and run the command refresh. This will basically do like a soft reboot of the script. There. Now, the ship is pointed to the planet. The way it should be. Okay. Next up, I want to show you how we can avoid having to map a bunch of ugly commands that we don't even know what they do to all the hotbars. We'll still have to map a couple commands to hotbars. They'll be much more manageable and a little more intuitive. So, a new feature to Planet Map 3D version 3.0 is an interactive context-based menu. So the first thing we want to do is, actually we're going to use the seat that we're sitting in right now. Open up the terminal, and we're going to put another tag in this already very long block name. And we're going to do open bracket, map, menu, close bracket. And nothing has happened so far, so we go back to the map program, and we, oh wait, no, there it is. And we run the refresh command again. A lot of the times, if you make a change to the script or any of the custom data fields, if nothing happens, go back to the program and run the refresh command. You might even want to map it to a hotbar somewhere. So yeah. So now we have this little interactive display here, but we have no way of interacting with it. So let's go to an empty hotbar that we have somewhere. We'll use 4 in this case. Doesn't have to be that. And we need to start mapping commands to the hotbar. And let's see. So mapping program. So for the interactive display, the interactive menu has buttons 1 through 7. 5 and 6 are blanked out on this particular display because I believe it's for for next and previous map, and this ship only has 1 map running on it right now. So, but anyways, so we're basically going to program these little interactive buttons to our hotbar. So what you want to do is drag the programmable block to the hotbar, hit run, and do button _1 in the 1 place, button underscore 2, and so forth, all the way to 7. Actually, you know, might be a good idea to just copy it so you don't have to type it over and over again. So let's see, Control V, 4, Control V, 5, Control V, 6, Control V, 7. Okay, now, so far I've left the 8 and 9 button blank. What you want to do is for 8, you want to put the command previous underscore menu. And for 9, you want next underscore menu. Okay, now let's give this a try. If I hit the 9 key, we go to menu 2. And then we've got menu 3, menu 4, 5, 6. So 6 menus total. And we can do the same with hitting 8 to do previous menu. So now that we've got that set up, let's look at the menus. So on menu 1, we have just the general systems menu. So if we hit 2, we'll go next planet, next planet, next planet, 1, previous planet. Uh-oh, that's not good. Did I type it wrong? Okay, let's try this again. Map. Run. Control V. Button 1. Try that again. There we go. I don't know what got messed up there, but something did. We haven't logged any waypoints, but waypoints do the same thing. Important to note, we did log a waypoint on the previous ship, but the data on that ship has not been synced with this ship, so currently no waypoints. But basically it's the same as planet, it'll cycle through the planets. Going to the next menu, we hit 9. We've got zoom in, zoom out. We've got the radius. This is the rotational radius. So the camera is always at a distance from the viewing center. When you go to next planet, that is always the center of the planet. So we are viewing the moon from a radius of, well, let's see, what is the radius on there? 262.1 kilometers. Anyways, yeah, so if you shorten the rotational radius, you'll effectively get closer to what you're looking at, and if you lengthen it, you'll be farther away. This is slightly different than zoom because you get like things like depth of field and all that. So we'll go ahead and the reason that the plus and minus are flip-flop because, you know, when you increase the radius, you get farther away. So if we hit 3, we get farther away from the moon, and if we hit 4, we get closer to it. Yeah. So, oh, and then 5 and 6, once again, we have the modes, and this time they are not abbreviated, so we can see them in the upper left. There's ship mode, chase mode, planet mode, orbital mode. That nice yellow ring around there is an approximation of where the gravity well ends. It's not always exact. Sometimes it's off by, you know, a couple kilometers or tens of kilometers, depending upon the planet. But yeah, it's just there to give you an idea. World mode. World mode is pretty much identical to free mode, except that it defaults to being very, very zoomed out. Info, that's a toggle button for the info bars at the top and bottom of the map, so we can turn them back on and off. So, you know, if you want a more visually clean space without all those ugly numbers shouting at you. So let's see. Hit 9 for next menu. Now we've got the rotational controls. So because rotational controls and we're currently in world mode, I'm going to go back again and let's cycle the modes until we're in something a little more pleasant. Let's go back to ship mode, and we'll go ahead and zoom in a bit, and then go back to the rotational menu. So if we can rotate left with the 1 key, then there's the planet behind us, and then we can do the same with 2, rotate right. Mentioned that there's rotate down, and actually let's see, gonna go back to the previous menu, zoom out a little bit, that way a little more pleasant that way. So we do rotate down, rotate up. Notice at the bottom, the angles are measured as the altitude and the azimuth. So the altitude is basically the sort of pitch, and the azimuth is the, rotation on the horizontal plane of the map. So, and then as I mentioned, we have the spin controls. That's 5 and 6. So if we hit 6, it just keeps on going, and we can even hit it multiple times and it'll speed up. And then if we hit 5 enough times, it'll decrease our angular velocity so that we're stopped again, and we can start rotating in the other direction. Okay, and let's go to the next menu. Now we've got translation. That's just moving in a singular direction. So we can... Oh, we are in ship mode right now. You can't translate in ship mode, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to map mode again. Let's see if we can put us in free mode. Yeah, there we are. Then... Okay, so we can translate left. We can... right. We can translate left. We can move down, we can move up, we can move back. Once again, not quite the same as zoom, it's actually just moving the camera physically back, but it's also, with this, it's moving the center of rotation, so we are no longer centered on the ship itself, but we could be if we guess the right number of times to move forward, but I can't remember what that is. So yeah, next menu. Now we've got tracking, which is basically the similar to the spin, is the kind of motion control, so except for translation. So we can track left, we hit track right once, it'll counteract the track left we did, and if we hit it again, it'll take us back that way. We can speed up, and we can speed down. Notice when the ship is off screen, there's a little indicator to tell you where it is off screen. Okay, and then we can do down, up, and back, and forward. And then also we have a stop button that will stop all movement. Even if you're doing the spinny rotation thing, it'll stop that too. So, okay. Let's see what we got on the next menu. Data display. That is something I need to set up. So I will go and take care of that in just a moment. Okay, so I have taken the liberty of setting up this little command seat over here. So that I can show you both about data display pages as well as setting up multiple screens for maps, menus, etc. So let's have a look at this. Okay. So first things first, let's get a menu set up here. We will go ahead and add the tag map menu. in square brackets to the block name. And then also we need to go back to the map program as well and run the refresh command. Okay. Now it's gone ahead and by default assigned the map menu to this main screen here, but I kind of feel like that's a bit of a waste of space because that big old screen can be used for a bunch of other stuff. So let's move it over to the screen to the left here. Now, if we look at the list of available screens in this block, the screens are always, numbered in order in this list, and the main screen, which appears at the top, is always screen 0. So what we want is the top left screen, so that's going to be screen 1. We go to the custom data field, and right where it says LCD index under the map menu header, we need to change that to 1. Nothing happens, so we need to go back to the map program again and run the refresh. There. Now we've got the map menu on screen 1. Notice too that there's a little at the top and off to the right there's a little label. It says ID:0. That is the number of the individual menu, because now this ship has more than one menu screen. So if we get up and we go over to the seat we were previously at, it says ID1. Now that poses a little bit of a problem if we want to, for example, use any of the menu commands we previously set up, because those were all default menu commands, so they defaulted to menu 0. And now if we hit anything... wait. Oh, right, I already went and fixed this one. Okay, ignore that. So basically what happened is I went and I reset up the button commands for this block by dragging the map block down and then running with the command button_1, then a space, and then the number of the menu, so 1. So now if we hit that 1 key, it'll do whatever the 1 key does on this menu. Now if we went and did that with, let's see, map, if we ran that with argument, well, just button_1 and no argument, it would automatically pick the menu 0. So if we hit the 1 key now, yeah. So notice that the 1 key isn't flashing. That's because it's doing whatever the 1 action is for menu 0, which is now over at that seat over there. So. And if we see here, in fact, the 1 key is previous planet now. So, anyways, onward. Let's go. We need to go ahead and reset up all the commands for this this terminal. So I'll just do that real quick. Map. Nope, not that one. Button_1. Now once again, because this is menu 0, we could just leave it without an argument, or we could do space 0 and then it would specifically pick menu 0. Either or really works. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And then we do... Oh, wait. No. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And once again, with the previous menu, and then we do space, and then the menu number. So previous menu for 0, and then next menu, space, 0. So now we can go ahead and switch between the different pages. And yeah. So that last page is for the data displays. Now a data display is basically just a text screen that displays a bunch of data for the for different things. Different pages display different data. There's one for maps, there's one for waypoints, there's one for planets. So let's go ahead and get that set up on this terminal. And we will add another tag to this one and put square bracket map data square bracket. And then once again, go to the map program and run the refresh command. And boom, we have a new display here. And let's see, if we go to page on the menu over here, we can do next page with 2, previous page with 1, and if there's anything that has, well, yep, for planets we can actually scroll down using 4 and then scroll back up. So that is data displays. Now if we look at the custom data for this block, we see a header that is data display screens, and it's showing for screen 0, show on screen true. And then if we want to get any of the other screens, we can change one of those arguments to true. So let's do that for screen 4. Go to the map program again, run refresh, and now screen 4 also has a data display. Now one thing of note here, now that there are multiple data display screens, there is there's a little bracketed number in the very left of the title. That is the number of that menu, so that data display. So this is data display 0, and that one over there looks to be data display 1. And if we go over back to our menu over here, 5 and 6 now cycle between which data display we are controlling. So if we hit 6, we're now controlling data display 1. So if we can do next page, previous page, and scroll down and scroll up. Similarly, we could add a map to this block. Let's get that partially set up first by going to custom data, and we'll display the map on screen 0, which is currently the main data display. So let's go ahead and set screen 0 for the data displays to false. Hit OK. And then we need to add the map tag to this block. And then go back to the map program and run the refresh command. And now we have a map here and then a map over there. Now notice, similar to the data displays, there is a bracketed number that is in the upper right. That is the number of the map. So this map in our seat here is map 0. The map over there is map 1. So if we go back over to our first page, the menu page, we can now cycle through which map we are controlling. And so if we hit 6, we will be controlling map 1, and we can cycle through the planets. If we hit 6 again, we'll be controlling map 0, and we can cycle through the planets right here. So yeah, that is the interactive context-based map menu, and hopefully everything I've shown you today will be enough to allow you to channel your inner cartographer and go exploring the depths of space. So until next time, all hail Lord Clang.